Hey guys, today we'll be talking about shopping on a budget. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the men's apparel and the cornerstone categories within the men's apparel market. That's t-shirts, polos, button-downs, shorts, denim and bottoms, and outerwear. The goal of this video will be how to allocate the budget that you have within each of these categories. The emphasis of this video is going to be more about quality and basic essential goods. We are not talking about the whole fast fashion, off-price model, which the prices could vary here and there. Most of these American mainstream brands, they're all being made in the same place by the same factories and the same makers because there aren't that many factories out there. And so everybody within the manufacturing world of the garment industry, they more or less get the same prices, minus a couple cents here and there. And because of that, that's the reason why the price points that I'm giving you guys right now is what I believe to be a fair price in order to pay the consumer as well as keep a business running. The first category we're going to be talking about is t-shirts. As a general rule of thumb for me, unless you're buying a graphic tee, say from like a small business or limited merch drop or something like that, I typically don't spend more than $15 for a t-shirt. The two brands that I like to highlight for this would probably be H&M and Gap. A typical basic t-shirt from H&M costs around $9.99. So if we click this guy, I mean, they're calling it a long fit t-shirt. A t-shirt is a t-shirt. You could probably make this for the same amount as you make a regular basic tee. Even online, they're selling it for $9.99. And once you start throwing the graphics on and everything, the prices start climbing. As you can see, I mean, by the looks of their pricing structure, they're charging an additional $3 for graphics. And let's see if we could find novelty fabric here somewhere. Wow, they don't do any novelty fabrics. Okay, like a yarn dye, like a striped t-shirt. As you can see here, $14.99. This is typically the range you want to play around at. However, that being said, H&M, one thing to know about H&M is if you wash an H&M shirt maybe around 5 times, that shirt basically becomes unwearable. So that's the reason why I bring up Gap as well. I know Gap typically has a really bad name in the whole fashion world because, I mean, they haven't really innovated their style since the 90s when they blew up the market with their t-shirt and denim campaign. Shout out to Mickey Drexler. But ever since then, they haven't really been doing anything in the fashion sphere. But that being said, their quality and their standards for the quality of their apparel is very apparent when you actually shop there. And typically for them, I would say their basic t-shirts go for around $15.99. But in actuality, I mean, if you could catch them in the sales and everything, I mean, you could get a really premium quality t-shirt from them for up to $7.50. I think that's what I saw the last time I was visiting the retail stores. So for them, it's they're a really good place to start if you're looking for just a solid basic t-shirt that you want to wear. Another one that I actually just thought of right now is Uniqlo. So let me just look that up real quick for you guys. I actually really like Uniqlo myself because Uniqlo has a very it has a good fit for, skinny Asian guys like myself. So yeah, let's see. Essential t-shirts here. Let's just take a look at what you're looking at here. And everyone keeps talking about this oversized shit. Okay, a crew neck short sleeve t-shirt. Yeah, so if you look here, they're retailing the Uniqlo e-commerce website has their t-shirts listed at $19.99. I think right now, if you go to one of the retail stores, you should still be able to find some for $9.99 there. Uniqlo is a pretty solid product. Eventually, I need to do a video on how Uniqlo is able to keep their prices at a pretty low price. But yeah, but either way, we'll talk about that some other time. But just to recap for tees, I'm looking at somewhere between $9.99 and $14.99. Can you find $5 t-shirts out in the market? You absolutely can. But I like to emphasize one more time here is I want to show you guys t-shirts that I know will last you, that you could wear multiple times, that will survive 10 washes, and you could at least wear for a full year. So if you're looking for something like that, like I said, $9.99, $14.99, I would say that's your magic price point. Let's move on to polos. So polos, even though they're made with the same quality as say a basic t-shirt and everything like that, polos will go up in price point simply because the cost of labor to actually make a polo is significantly higher. I like my polos at around $29.99. I think $29.99 seems to be the magic price points for polos. You could get away with some lower price points, but at that point, you're going to be sacrificing a lot in terms of like the quality of the actual fabric. The two labels that I want to be highlighting for polos today are probably going to be Abercrombie and Fitch and Lacoste. So if you look on Abercrombie's website, as you can see, like right on the money in terms of polos. I mean, granted, this says it's on sale. I guess the opening price for this was $40 for their basic polo. Now it's down to $29.25, around $30, like I said. You see if here for $35, you see some for, but that's a long sleeve, so I guess that doesn't really matter. Yeah, but I'm thinking right now for like $30, you'll get a really, really nice quality polo. Now, when you look at Lacoste, granted, Lacoste, they're trying to sell this for $100, but I mean, look, I'm saying $29.99 is a good price. The reason why Lacoste could mark this up like crazy is because they have ridiculously awesome branding, and typically when people think of polos, they think Lacoste. But yeah, but I mean, I would say like anything over $29.99, like I said, you're paying for that little alligator logo. That's what you're paying for. So yeah, just keep that in mind. The next category will be button-downs. My price range for it will go as follows. For short sleeves, it's $29.99. Long sleeves, $49.99, $50 to $60. I think that's like a pretty good range for button-downs. So the two stores that I like to compare is J. Crew and Nordstrom Rack. I really, just a pro tip for those who are listening, I really like Nordstrom Rack as a store when it comes to both quality and just name brand. And Nordstrom Rack always has a very fair price. Nordstrom Rack actually came out as like an off-price offshoot of Nordstrom's, but Nordstrom's was always like a luxury boutique store. And I really like what the Nordstrom company is doing with Rack, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to find good quality clothing and putting it out at typically the price that these giant luxury retailers would dump their garments at. But when you really think, not when you really think about it, but I'm telling you that typically when they dump their goods at the price, they're still making a decent margin. I'll just leave it at that. I wanted to bring up this, the Nordstrom Rack front page. As you could see here, for the most part, a lot of their short sleeve wovens, their short sleeve button downs, sorry, they're priced at $24.99, $29.99 for the most part. I mean, you see some that are a higher price point, but that's like performance or some other, like, you know, other bells and whistles that they're just slapping on the actual packaging just so they could move product better. But like I said, for the most part, I think for $30, you'll find a pretty good short sleeve button down. The reason why I wanted to talk about J. Crew in this as well is because, at least for I'm a millennial, so at least for my millennial generation, it's J. Crew really made a big splash during like the 2010s. Thanks to Michelle Obama. I mean, she helped them out a lot too, but they've always kind of been like the go-to store, I guess, for me growing up. If I wanted like a nice, clean, like Oxford shirt or even like a chambray shirt, J. Crew seemed to be like the store to go to for this, okay? But at the same time, I also think J. Crew is very overpriced and very expensive. They did a really great job at branding their product in terms of like that they're very expensive because of the quality, but they also ship out magazines to everybody every single quarter, and they have a lookbook that they keep updated on a weekly basis. All that costs money, and all of that is being paid by your dollars. If you want to spend, if you want to give J. Crew your money so that you could get that magazine subscription, that's entirely up to you. You're paying for the magazine, you're not paying for the clothes. That's all I'd say about that. But if you look at J. Crew, a lot of their casual shirts right now, they're priced on e-commerce at around 80 bucks. $79.50 to be exact. Just to even put it in perspective for you is like this shirt right here, this is a printed shirt. This shirt right here is a yarn-dyed plaid shirt. This shirt right here is another printed shirt. This shirt here, it's called a secret wash shirt. They probably just put a light enzyme wash on it. But either way, whenever you look through all of these, you gotta know this. It's a plaid costs, the cost between a plaid, a cost between a print, and a cost between a solid shirt, all three of them are very, very different price points. But when you look here on the J. Crew website, all of them are costed out the same at $79.99. That's kind of how you know there's some games being played here. You know, they're making more for some shirts that they're selling you and they're making less for others. So when you keep that, just to keep that in mind, and I mean, that's something that I want to say most brands do, most everyone does. But as you could see, like I just wanted to give an example of some gamesmanship that's typically being played when they're actually putting out retail prices. But what I'm telling you right now is that for a short sleeve, $29.99. For a long sleeve, $50 to $60. I think that's more than enough. Anything more than that, you're paying for something else. The next thing I want to cover is denim and bottoms. Denim are jeans. Think Levi's, think Wrangler. Bottoms are basically any long pants that aren't jeans. Typically, denim costs more than bottoms, generally. If you're talking cargos are more expensive than anything else just due to the make. But denim costs more than bottoms, but at the same time, because of the consumers, typically the market consolidates both prices into one. Denim and bottoms, there is a huge range when it comes to the quality, and I'll get to that at a later on. You could find an acceptable pair of denim or bottoms for $29.99. You could find an acceptable pair, but it really depends on how heavy you want it and how heavy you want it, how light you want it, how much stretch you want. It's very, very fickle, which is why I'm giving a bigger range in terms of denim of somewhere anywhere between $29.99 to $60. I think that's a very, very fair price, and you can make as good of a quality of denim within that price range. The three brands that I want to talk about are Levi's, Lee's/Wrangler, they're the same company, and Dockers. I'm talking about Levi's just to pay respect to Levi's, but to be honest with you, the pandemic, I think, affected the Levi's business model the most out of almost any brand that in the men's market. In the past, what Levi's would do is I always thought Levi's was probably like the most rock solid denim company, and I thought it was an aspirational company for a lot of manufacturers. However, during the pandemic, things got a little screwed up and everything, and so now Levi's is selling really, really shitty quality denim at ridiculously high prices, and I'm gonna walk you guys through it right now. But right now, Levi's is putting their stuff out at like $69.99. Maybe you could find one on sale for like $60. But at the end of the day, it's like Levi's kind of sold out, bro. What the fuck, Levi's? I used to really like Levi's. I still think like Levi's Premium is probably really good. I still buy a lot of denim jackets from Levi's, but then when it comes to their denim, they've kind of gone down a really weird route. Stay tuned. I mean, I really hope that over the next couple of years, they kind of smooth out their whole business model and stop ripping off their customers, because they built a really solid, loyal fan base for themselves. We'll see how long they stay around like that. A really underrated brand, I would say, would probably be Lee and Wrangler. I remember back in like the 90s, Lee's and Wrangler, they were almost neck and neck with Levi's. And then Levi's all of a sudden just pulled away, and probably just because of their branding and marketing. I don't exactly know why, but Lee and Wrangler still continue to be like, I want to say, the second largest denim distributors for men, at least, out in the market. They're a really good company. They make really good quality denim. The only thing I would say about Lee that I've seemed to notice is they're not very they're not trendy. They're not very trend relevant. And so, you know, when the entire market is going slim, Levi's is still, I mean, not Levi's, sorry, forget Levi's. Lee is still kind of pumping out the whole straight leg carpenter look, and their fit is frankly, honestly, like pretty dated. But that being said, you know, they still make really good quality denim, and you know, as you could see here, all the denim on their e-commerce store is priced out at $26.99, $38.90, $31.90, $26, $38, $39, and you know, if you guys are following me along in this video, as you could see, you know, you could say that, oh, but all of these are discounted prices. I gotta be honest with you, Shopify has an app that gives a regular price, and so I'm willing to bet you anything that Lee is always on sale, and you can see that it's apparent here. But at the same time, I think Lee is a very good reference point if you want to see like what the current retail value of the denim actually is. Because I hate to break it to you guys, but Lee, Levi's, and MBX, my label, we all make our denim from the same place. You know, if I go factory shopping, the same lines that are doing my denim production are doing Lee, and the same, and at the same time, the next line over is doing Levi's. We're all making the same shit from the same place. We're all using the same quality. We're all shopping the same fabric mills. We're all using the same wash houses. So just keep that in mind when, you know, when you guys are looking at this. The same way I feel about Lee and Wrangler is the same way I feel about Dockers when it comes to any non-denim goods. Dockers has been around for a very long time. And even though they're not a very sexy name, they have the staying power of brands that have come and gone they have an even stronger staying power than brands that have come and gone a long time ago. So as you could see here, all of their chinos, whether it's an athletic fit, they have all these different words. They're all using the same fabric for all of these. They're just changing the cut a little bit. But as you can see here, even Dockers, they're sitting at around $39.99 to $45 typically. Let's see if we can find any that are, you know, more expensive. Well, I guess they have a City Tech that's $54. 54. But generally speaking, I think like Dockers is, as a good gauge, is they're keeping everything within the $30 to $60 price point, like I was mentioning earlier. The only bottom that I would say that does not fall in this mold right now would be cargo pants. Okay, cargo pants. I wish I could say a lot of cool things about cargos, but frankly, it's as a manufacturer myself, I haven't even hacked cargos yet myself. Cargo, those pockets are damn expensive. A little fun fact is like, if you want to throw a cargo pant on a pair of bottoms, you're literally using 10% additional fabric just for those pockets. It might sound ridiculous because they're just two pockets. How could the fabric consumption increase by 10%? But I don't know what to tell you, it's the truth, you know? So it's, yeah, but in terms of cargos, I mean, like, I'm looking at Abercrombie because I haven't bought cargo pants in a minute, but back when I used to always shop at Abercrombie for it. Abercrombie falls in the same model as Dockers and Lee as well. Clearly nobody shops at Abercrombie now because they think Abercrombie's hot and new. People shop at Abercrombie because Abercrombie is brutally consistent. And consistency, I believe, is the mark of a very good apparel company. Not so much the style and the fashion. You know, to be honest with you, as a business owner myself, if you want a trendy clothing line, you could just hire a very good designer, and all of a sudden your line will be trendy. But consistency and quality is what you want to be looking for in brands, especially if the brand wants staying power. So as you can see here, like for most of Abercrombie cargos, they're sitting at $70, 56 to $70. Honestly, I think it's a fair price. Cargos are expensive, so I don't really know what else to say about that. Yeah, so quick recap. Any kind of long bottom, $30 to $60, very good price. If it's a cargo, maybe you could pay $5 extra for it, you know? And I think that's fair. I think that's fair for everybody. Moving on to shorts. Shorts, I got a flat price, $29.99. I wouldn't pay any more, I wouldn't pay any less for shorts. And I want to cover two different categories of shorts today. I want to cover active shorts, which is basically the shorts that you go work out in or play basketball or any kind of sport in. I want to cover active shorts, and I want to cover casual shorts. Casual shorts are the cotton-based shorts. It's basically like the non-denim bottoms with, half of the leg cut off. So I like $29.99 flat price for shorts. I just think that's like a fair price. But when you really look in the market nowadays, the two labels I'm going to be covering is Nike and Dockers, because I think Nike, I believe, is the largest men's retailer in the world. I don't think there's anybody who makes more apparel than Nike does, and I don't think anybody mass produces the way Nike does. I mean, Levi's is kind of going the same route as Nike right now. Nike tends to overvalue and overbloat a lot of their costs just so they can increase their margins. But then at the same time too, they're signing athletes to these giant mega deals. I mean, they made Michael Jordan a billionaire, they made LeBron James a billionaire. So clearly they're spending it on stuff that active athlete, people who work out believe in. So I mean, I can't really say that, their money is going to like a bad, a bullshit cause. It's like they're wizards when it comes to their marketing. But at the end of the day, if you're looking for a deal from Nike, or not really a deal, but if you're looking for a fair price from Nike so you're not getting ripped off, wait for them to go on sale, buy their shit for $29.99. I'm pretty sure I could find one here. Hold on, I'm still scrolling. You see, I see the Nike Dry Fit basketball for $35. And this is on e-commerce. If you go to a Nike store, I'm sure you could find some for $29.99. And to be honest with you, activewear is activewear, especially when it comes to polyester. Polyester fabrications, there isn't nearly as big of a range for a polyester as it is cotton. For the most part, poly all comes from the same place, China, and there isn't a huge range. And so if you guys don't like the $29.99 price point, you guys could just shop off price, and you'll be able to find a really a solid pair of shorts there for $9.99, and it'll be made with the same material. And for casual shorts, I'm going back to Dockers for this. As you can see, they're perfect shorts, $27.99. Like I said, on the dot. The recreational hike shorts, yeah, sure, they go up to $40 here, $60 here, but just trust me when I say this, the real price for shorts is $29.99. You can't go wrong with buying a rock solid pair of shorts for $29.99. You're gonna get a great deal from it. The last but not least, the category that I wanna talk about is outerwear. I am not gonna give you guys a price point for outerwear. Outerwear will probably be the one place where I would highly recommend to ball out, spend some money. I mean, whether it's $150, whether it's $500, I think it's personally worth it to spend a lot of money for an outerwear piece that you really like. There's a couple reasons for this, is because reason number one is outerwear tends to be a signature piece or a statement piece for any wardrobe. You could buy basics of everything. You could buy your t-shirts from H&M. You could buy your jeans from Lee. You could buy your button downs from Nordstrom Rack. You could buy the bottom of the barrel price for everything, and you put on a leather jacket over it, and all of a sudden you start looking like a fashionista. The second reason why I'm not really putting a price point on outerwear is because across the US right now, in terms of manufacturing, the casual outerwear market after pandemic has been completely broken. The reason for this is because outerwear itself is a very seasonal business. It's inherently more expensive than any other item that we're talking about. So because of that, it's very difficult for someone like me to just slap on a price on the outerwear and say this is where it should be, because for every company, their price structure is going to be different once you go into production. So that's something to keep in mind when you're shopping for outerwear. The best thing I could recommend for you guys is one, limit the amount of outerwear you buy. Don't buy five leather jackets. You only need one. Don't buy 10 tech bomber jackets. You only need one. I think, in my opinion, budgeting that way will go a very long way when it comes to outerwear. And another word of advice too, don't buy the $29.99 leather jacket that you find. You're gonna wear it for 1 year and it's gonna be gone. Whereas if you spend $300 for a really strong outerwear piece, that could last you almost a decade if necessary, you know? Because outerwear tends to have a very timeless nature to it as well. The leather jacket that you bought when you were in college, I'm sure it still looks good on you now. There's a reason for that, because it's outerwear. So instead of looking up some random brand, I'll go outerwear shopping myself. I love leather jackets and I love All Saints. So I'm just gonna go on All Saints right now and I'll show you what their price point is in terms of leather. So All Saints, shop men. Yeah, so right now, it looks like their leather jackets are going for around 600 bucks. Pro tip, if you're in LA, go to Cabazon. They have an outlet there. You could buy last year's product. It's the same shit, man. It's the same shit, but it's gonna cost half the price. I wanna talk about 2 more points before we wrap this video up. One is beware of a couple things you need to know about the retail stores in general. Beware of the new arrival products. When they first launch a new arrival, they are always going to be overpricing it. They're always going to be overpricing it right now is because their like the goal and the business model for a lot of retail stores is to drive profits and profitability. And the American consumer is very, very spoiled, and the retailers know this. Everybody here is looking for a deal. Everybody here is looking for the sale. Everyone's looking for that giant red sign in front of the market. And the retail stores know it too. And so because of this, they started making up these gimmicks. There's a margin that a brand needs to hit versus a margin that they put the products out at. The reason for this is they're preparing for the inevitable clearance sale that is going to happen. So typically, when a product hits the store, it could be anywhere from 15 to 40% higher than the actual margin that the brand needs in order to stay around. So general rule of thumb for me is if you see a new arrival section, come back to the store in 4 to 6 weeks and you're gonna see it. The prices are gonna start slashing, and typically per retail store, there's probably around 2 to 3 different times where they will discount the product before they finally let it go. The second point I want to talk about is there is one business out there right now in the American market that totally flips everything that I'm saying in this video on its head. And that's the club business, specifically Costco. Costco, if you could find what you're looking for at Costco, I cannot recommend strongly enough that you buy it at Costco. Costco, the reason for this is because the way the Costco business model is they are not reliant on the profits that they make from selling the product in order to keep their business running. This is the reason why they could be at a lower price than everybody else. When it comes to Costco, what drives the revenue of Costco and what drives the profits of Costco is your membership to the Costco program. Everybody who shops at Costco knows that they pay a monthly, annual, whatever your plan is, you're paying a fee to be a member of Costco to gain access to the Costco store. And that is what drives the Costco business. Typically, the sales of the product within Costco is literally used just to cover the costs of actually manufacturing, making, and housing and distributing that product. None of their profits come from that. And so because of that, Costco is able to get really, really high quality product and sell it for it might even be half the price of what you see in retail stores. So, but on the flip side of that though, is Costco product looks pretty boring. Their t-shirts are just that. They're just regular t-shirts. Their underwear, their sweaters, their button downs, their jeans, they're just that. You're not gonna find a really cool wash at Costco, but at the same time, what you will get is you'll get a really, really, really good quality apparel, like a good quality garment at a ridiculous price. And the only reason I'm actually mentioning this right now is because in this day and age, you know, People have trust issues. People don't know if they could trust Costco. And to you, I'll say that is Costco has no reason to lie. They have literally no reason to lie because they're not putting the price tag that they put on the actual on the garment or whatever it is you want to buy at Costco. That's the real price. Like that could be close to like, you know, I mean, yeah, that's probably going to be as close to the cost of the actual good that they bought it at as any other store in the market. So if you're a budget conscious shopper, as long as you follow within these price guidelines, I think it should, I mean, it might not answer all of your questions, but you'll have a general idea of where the current market is. And hopefully this video helps out. If you want to see more videos like this, please drop a comment below and subscribe. Thank you.